change, I would like to offer this to you, and please have it now. Okay. So welcome to 1875. Charles Dickens has invited me to his parlor. So Charles, thanks a lot for having me today. It's 1875, we're in your parlor, and it's amazing. All these characters, all these situations that you've dreamt up in your literary texts, in your novels, they've all arrived here miraculously on the walls of your parlor, and it's fascinating to be here. So in a way, what we see here is a visualization of the process of adaptation, and it's wonderful to share these ideas with you. So, Charles, you've asked me, why am I in adaptation studies? And I just wanted to tell you why I'm in adaptation studies. Adaptation studies is about how cultures survive, really. So this biological dimension of adaptation, I think we need to take seriously. It's about the survival of culture, and it is my conviction that culture only survives in adaptation. It only survives when cultural texts and cultural practices are transformed, are varied across a variety of media. So there is the traditional model of adaptation studies, which is all about the transcoding of literature into film. And your novels, Charles, have been transformed and transcoded so frequently and so easily because you have this visual imagination, I know. And Sergei Eisenstein has actually talked about your skills in visualizing situations. And so your works have been very attractive for adapters. But I think that adaptation is much more than just the transcoding of a Dickens novel into a Dickens movie. And maybe we should differentiate between the study of adaptations from the study of adapting. So adapting for me is much more than a comparison between two texts. The study of adapting is the study of a cultural technique. We all need to adapt in order to survive. And we adapt biologically, that's pretty obvious. But we also survive culturally by writing back to a previous culture. So for me, adaptation studies is actually a counterpoint to essentialist notions of culture, which would argue that there's a core of any given culture that never changes. And the opposite is true. Cultures change frequently and they become different cultures. So this is why I study your adaptations, Charles, but I study in more general terms what adapting is. So adapting for me is a cultural technique very much on par with writing, very much like calculating, but in a kind of wider sense, so that it can apply to all these skills. All of these skills can and need to be adapted in order to ensure survival. So I think that the biological dimension of the word adaptation needs to be taken seriously.